Goldberg says he didn't think the chat was real until the planned attack actually took place. Goldberg then exited the chain. A National Security Council spokesman confirmed that the thread was authentic and they're investigating. Folks, apps like Signal are not government-approved platforms to transmit classified information. You would think folks would know that. And the fact that defense officials are conducting an intelligence operation on an app is dangerous. Meanwhile, Donald Trump claims he had no knowledge of these events.
Mr. President, your reaction to the story in The Atlantic that said that some of your top cabinet officials and aides had been discussing very sensitive material through Signal and included an Atlantic reporter for that. What is your response to that?
I don't know anything about it. I'm not a big fan of The Atlantic.
And apparently he was added on a Signal text chain about us attacking Yemen and attacking the Houthis in Yemen.
Right. Even drug dealers, when they use Signal, know to check
who they're...
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean... It's just so fascinating. I mean, every story is basically just quoting from The Atlantic, but it's just, he said, as he's reading at 11:44 a.m. on the March 15th, seeing the Houthis are not going to know about this for another couple of hours, and I know about it, and I'm thinking to myself, honestly, I'm glad that Mike Waltz didn't invite the Houthis to the group or inspire an adversary to the United States.
Right.
I mean, and Signal, I mean, I know it's encrypted, but still.
Yeah.
There are even more encrypted manners of sending this information that were invented by the Pentagon specifically for this occasion.
Yes. It's
because you can add, even though it's encrypted, you can add anyone to Signal.
Yeah.
As we found out yesterday.
We found out.
Yeah.
And somebody says, well, his Jeffrey Goldberg's initials are the same as somebody else that should have been. So what?
So what?
Double check.
Yeah.
Double check.
Always double check.
I mean, come on, like,
you know, you could be, S talking about your ex and then accidentally add your ex to the chat.
I mean,
even I've never done that. Like, come on.
How drunk was he?
Yeah.
I mean, and then of course Josh Hawley says, why is everybody griping about who's on a text message? Excuse me? These were war plans.
Because yes, you don't use Signal to send out war plans, which is exactly what Pete Hegseth did.
And Mr. Hegseth went on, can we play one and then into two?
Yep.
Thank you.
Those details shared on Signal, and how did you learn that a journalist was privy to the targets, the types of weapons used?
I've heard I was characterized. Nobody was texting war plans, and that's all I have to say about that. Thank you. I appreciate it.
The NSC said it was authentic.
I mean, is he using word games and saying that it wasn't on text, it was on Signal?
I don't know.
That's the only reason I can think where he could think he was being truthful.
Well, and then he called the reporter a so-called journalist.
Right, which is, the line of attack of anybody in the Trump administration.
You're talking about a deceitful and highly discredited so-called journalist who's made a profession of peddling hoaxes time and time again, to include the hoaxes of Russia, or the fine people on both sides hoax.
That's not a hoax.
Or suckers and losers hoax. So this is the guy that peddles in garbage. This is what he does.
CNN did
when you're caught, and so you discredit the messenger.
Exactly. In fact, Brian Hughes, who's a spokesman for the administration's National Security Council, told Goldberg that this appears to be an authentic message chain.
Oh, yeah.
This is from the administration, not from anybody else. Right. He said the thread is a demonstration of the deep and thoughtful policy coordination between senior officials on Signal.
On Signal. You can have deep and thoughtful policy discussions in a skiff.
Yes,
don't do it on Signal.
Thank you. They should have been in a skiff. What is going on here? And then he said the ongoing success of the Houthi operation demonstrates that there were no threats to troops or national security. That still says that what he got is authentic.
Yeah.
And Pete Hegseth, he was drunk, allegedly. He had to have been. I mean... the incompetent, and then CNN, like I was about to say, they had a montage of Pete Hegseth et al. Complaining about Hillary Clinton's emails.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, hey guys, this is way worse than what
It's
she
also
had.
current.
And it's also current.
Yes.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much. It just
Don't run over a pack of Cub Scouts and keep pointing to the past about it.
right, right. And apparently, Mike Waltz, who he's the one that
Not
added,
Tim Walz.
not Tim Walz, it's Mike Waltz.
Mike Waltz, yes.
Added Goldberg to the chain apparently,
Yeah.
and that's the problem. It's like,
You can add anybody. They could have added me.
yes, they could have. Wouldn't that have been better?
I wouldn't have done anything with it. I would have been like, is this real? I don't know. Delete.
Well, at least
Report spam, delete.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
They're trying to scam me.
You owe money to the toll roads. Okay, yeah, right.
That's getting out of hand.
That is
That
getting
is.
out of hand. Yeah.
I get so many. My old roommate fell for it though, and she had to cancel her
Well,
debit card.
The thing is, I'm not a car commuter,
Exactly.
so I don't go anywhere near
Yeah.
toll roads.
I don't either, even if I'm in a car. The only time I did that was when I went to Texas for my nephew's funeral last year, and I had to go on toll
Right.
roads, but I prepaid that,
Yeah.
and so I never got.
Like I don't know if it's a national thing or if it's just a local LA thing. Where they send you
Yeah.
texts saying you owe money to the toll roads.
Lonnie's gotten those.
I've never gotten a legit one. Like
No, I've never gotten a legit
it's
one. I haven't
always-
driven on a
yeah.
toll road in Southern California
No.
in years.
I avoid them like COVID,
like the plague.
like the plague. No, we obviously don't avoid things like the plague, COVID. But no, this is interesting. So according to the report, besides Waltz, it included J.D. Vance, Hegseth, Marco Rubio, Tulsi Gabbard, and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Why was he on that? I mean, I understand everybody else besides the, Atlantic guy, but I mean, I don't understand why he would have been on that list. And then
Treasury pays for it.
maybe White House Chief of Staff. That makes sense. Someone identified as SM, which they think was Stephen Miller.
It's the White House Chief of Staff's job
Yes.
to keep this sort of thing from happening.
Absolutely.
So for her
Yes.
to be on this chain and not say, hey, let's take this to a skiff is inexcusable.
That's on her.
Yeah.
It's absolutely on her. Because, it is her job to make sure that things like this don't happen.
Right. It's her job to keep all of this buttoned up.
Yeah.
And she
'cause
didn't.
She did not. You are correct. Goldberg excoriated Waltz and the other participants in the chat for shocking recklessness in the signal conflict.
Well,
no kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding, buddy. But what I like about this is he didn't wait for a book. He reported it
Audie
now.
Cornish kind of said that as an aside this morning on CNN. She's like, at least Goldberg didn't wait 2 years to write about this in a book.
Exactly.
At least he put this out right away.
Yeah, and that's the right thing to do.
Absolutely.
I'm looking at a few of you out there.
Yeah. John Bolton.
John Bolton, what's his face, Watergate.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, this at least we know about it in real time per se. I mean, a couple of weeks. I guess he had to make sure that it was accurate because we're only 10 days.
10 days.
10 days. That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's-
It's a week and a half.
And I don't want to hear another thing about Hillary's emails from anybody.
Yeah. Jessica Tarloff said that yesterday.
Yes, she did. It's
Yes.
13.
journalist at The Atlantic being invited into a private signal chat with all of our national security heads. So Rubio, Hegseth, Waltz, Tulsi Gabbard, Scott Bessent's in there, et cetera. And they are planning on just signal to drop bombs in Yemen. So they're not doing this in a skiff. They're doing it on an app that you and we all have on our phones. And it's obviously incredibly reckless, national security risks. I don't want to ever hear but her emails again.
That's Stephanie's best friend, Jessica Tarloff.
Yeah.
She likes to say.
I have it on my phone because I talk to like some international friends that way. It's they don't necessarily have iMessage or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I only know people using Signal and Telegram to buy drugs.
Drugs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's mostly what it's
So
known
that's
for.
the irony of this.
Yeah.
The whole thing. Like, oh, yeah. Way to go, guys.
Well, maybe that's how Pete was normally talking to people that he liked to do things with. No, Senator Chris Coons tweeted out, I guess, every single one of the government officials in this text chain have now committed a crime, even if accidentally. That would normally involve a jail sentence. We can't trust anyone in this dangerous administration to keep Americans safe. That is true. Ignorance of the law or stupidity does not guard you from breaking the law.
Right.
I mean, that's number one. If you don't know it, like when you go to another country and you don't know something is against the law, you can still be arrested for doing something.
Yeah.
Well, just on March 14th, Tulsi Gabbard tweeted, any unauthorized release of classified information is a violation of the law and will be treated as such.
Okay, Tulsi, she's going to be questioned later today.
Yeah, she's going before a Senate committee about something unrelated, but they're going to ask her about this.
Of course they will.
She was on the chain.
She was on the chain. She should know.
Yeah.
It's just it is so maddeningly. We warned everybody. We did. We warned everybody about the stupidity of this.
Hegseth was completely
especially Hegseth. But it's we know the incompetence of Donald Trump. And last time he had people around him that knew what they were doing. This time he does not. I mean,
he has sycophants this time.
All of them. Every single one of them. I mean, Marco Rubio has some experience. Tulsi Gabbard has some experience. But in general, everybody, Pam Bondi, obviously she's a lawyer and she was an AG before. But this is just, it's mind-boggling to me that he hasn't stepped down yet, that he hasn't been asked to step down by anybody.
Well, the administration's not going to ask him to step down. There are whispers about Mike Waltz.
I think,
being asked this.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to be thrown under the bus. He's going to be the one.
Yeah,
I
guess he and Trump are meeting today.
Right. Yeah, Chris DeLuzio from Pennsylvania, Democrat from Pennsylvania, is a representative. And he's on the Armed Services Committee, so somebody that knows a little something about stuff like this. He said, we can't chalk it up to a simple mistake. Nope. People should be fired for this. Yes. And Don Bacon, a Republican, he said, the unconscionable action, he goes, I've accidentally sent the wrong person a text. We all have. But he added, the unconscionable action was sending this info over non-secure networks. None of this should have been sent on a non-secure system. Russia and China are surely monitoring his unclassified phone. Of course they are.
Well, did you know that scammers can literally steal your home right out from under you? Not like a cartoon. The FBI calls it house stealing. It is a growing real estate scam targeting American homeowners. Here's how it works. Criminals forge your signature on one document, use a fake notary stamp with your local recorder's office, and just like that, your home title has been transferred out of your name. Then they can take out loans using your equity as collateral or even sell the property behind your back. You won't even know it's happening until you start getting collection or foreclosure notices. So let me ask you, when was the last time you checked your home title? If you're like me, the answer is never. And that's exactly what scammers are counting on. That's why I trust Home Title Lock. Their $1 million triple lock protection helps keep your home and equity safe. Here's what you get. Immediate 24/7 monitoring of your property, urgent alert if there's any changes, and if fraud should happen, their U.S.-based restoration team will spend up to $1 million to fix the fraud and restore your title at no additional cost. Here's the best part. I have teamed up with Home Title Lock to give you a free title history report so you can find out if you are already a victim and access your personal title expert. That is a $250 value just for signing up. Go to HometitleLock.com, use my promo code Stephanie250 or click on the link in the description. That's HometitleLock.com. Promo code is Stephanie250 to get the protection and peace of mind you deserve.